I'm with Jeff Shevlin, so-called dollar guy at the Fun Show. And Jeff, I have to, on behalf of every so-called dollar collector, I have to bug you and ask you, when is the next book coming out?
Well, I'm glad you asked. You know, Bill Hyder and I have been working on our so-called dollar books and related books for a number of years. And we have a publishing strategy. We're going to be publishing in 2 volumes. And volume 1 is going to cover all the so-called dollars from the fairs and expositions. And volume 2 is going to be all the other cool so-called dollars. And prior to each volume, we're publishing 2 books, kind of story books. The first book was the book on the Charbonneaus, which was an award-winning book. The next book, which we have due out later this year, is so-called dollars from the Pacific Coast Expositions, of which there were 7 major expositions on the Pacific Coast. That should be out sometime later this year.
So what was the Pacific Coast Expedition exactly?
Well, they're like the California Midwinter Exposition in 1894, or the Panama-Pacific in 1915, the AYPE. There were really, expositions were a big part of the development of our country's history and our infrastructure, and there were 7 major ones that were held on the West Coast. So our book is going to talk about each one of those expositions, the cool and interesting things that happened there, and it's going to also catalog all the so-called dollars that were struck at each one of those expositions.
So I see that you have on your display, you have these plastic holders for so-called dollars.
Yeah.
I've never seen this before. So what exactly is this going on with these holders?
Well, this is a brand new product that I just conceptually have come up with just in the last few weeks. And with the introduction of our book later in the year, I want to have something to go along with them. So I've developed this product, and there's a couple of them actually, that for collectors of so-called dollars, so they can, you know, showcase and display their collections. There's 2 different sets. One is a type set, which will have 1 hole for each one of the 7 expositions. So there was an official medal in each one of these expositions, and they're usually struck in silver and copper and bronze and sometimes other metals. So you can pick any one and fill this one up relatively easily. And then I also have a 27-hole slot, which has for each one of those 7 expositions, each one of the compositions that the medals are struck in. For example, the PPIE in 1915 struck it in silver, 4 different bronze varieties, and a gold-plated variety.
And what famous designer engraved those PPIE?
I'm glad you asked. That was by Robert Aiken.
So he did something else in 1915.
He did. At that exposition in 1915, the United States Mint had 5 different commemorative coins. And the $50 gold and the $50 round, or the $50 gold octagonal piece and the $50 round piece were both designed by Robert Aiken. And he designed the official medal that was struck by the United States Mint, and it was struck at that exposition and sold as a souvenir, and that's this medal right here.
So I don't think that putting this complete set together is out of the reach of most collectors who are determined to do it, but what's the estimated cost of just an AU Unk set to fill that up?
Well, you know, I just kind of ran the numbers, and it came up between $4,000 and $5,000. If you want to fill a set up with nice choice AU or low-grade Unk pieces, so you have a very beautiful collection. Now the thing is, even if you were determined to do that and you had $5,000, it would probably take you several years to do it.
Right.
Because many of these pieces, even though there might be a few $100s, they're just not that readily available. So you could spend quite a bit of time trying to find a gold-plated variety of the AYPE or there's a few pieces, even though it's not particularly expensive, they're just difficult to find.